You approach Mawson from the sea in a ship and you can see the mountains sticking out of the ice from miles and miles out to sea. There was very little around to read about, but little bits and pieces I did get hold of. It was just fascinating, and I thought, wow, I've got to go to that place. It's just so huge and pristine. And when they told me the ice was, a kilometre thick or something, I said, I've got to see it to believe it. So. It's just fantastic, and these big peaks sticking out of this beautiful creamy surface of the continent, and that's the introduction. You think, wow, that is amazing. Haven't got any idea until you get right up into the close right into the islands, through Iceberg Alley. I was living in the huts that they built between 1954 and 1969. It was just fantastic to know that we didn't have the luxury of what's there now, with the red sheds and the carpets on the floor and the heating and everything, push-button toilets and all of this stuff. There was none of that at all. So, and that was what I wanted. Everybody loved the dogs, they were great. We would be in the workshop there, and we looked straight through the windows of the wild workshop out across to the dog lines just on the west arm there. And they'd all be lying there or curled up or whatever, when it was drifting snow and they were sort of half buried. And all of a sudden one would sit up and go, ooh, he'd start howling, And then all the other dogs would sit up and they'd all howl. And they'd howl for about 3 or 4 minutes, the whole lot. And everybody said, wow, what's going on? And then all of a sudden they'd just stop, just like that, bang. And they'd all sit down and go to sleep again. It was the craziest thing. But we used to look forward to it every afternoon. It's a great experience, the whole thing. Probably the best times of my life that I spent were at Mawson, and just watching how all this stuff happened, It's just great, really good.
Initially, Mawson was established as a seabird monitoring site because the foraging ranges overlapped with where the krill fishing industry were operating, and it's the only place that the Australian Antarctic Program operates where we can estimate survival of any of our wildlife. And so that long time series of data has now become really, really important and valuable because survival is a key demographic parameter, really important for understanding what's going on for those birds. But Mawson Station is quite a different Antarctic station to the rest of the Australian Antarctic Program. It feels like a real remote outpost. It's rugged and wild, visually just so beautiful. But the actual station itself doesn't have that many people. It's around 30 people, so it's one of our smaller stations, and it really feels like you're in Antarctica and you're in the wilds there.
I think it's probably the setting, around the horseshoe, harbour or bay, and the mountains in the background, and just the whole continent sitting behind it. Voyage 3 is about refueling, resupplying, and bringing in the expeditioners for the winter into Mawson. We're also bringing out the summer team that has been there. We're also going to go to Davis. We'll bring in a couple expeditioners and bring out a large team from Davis. Doing marine science on the voyage as well, so that is be happening on the way down and the way back as well. I'm looking forward to the whole adventure.